Hey, church, it's great to be able to speak to you in this way. And I thought I'd probably just encourage you a little because I suppose many of us have been in lockdown, have been tied up, and it's just been one of those times of just been continual, not knowing exactly what's happening. We know at the end of the week, we're coming to the end of the state of disaster. So what does that mean? I don't know. But one of the amazing things of this particular lockdown or this time of lockdown has been that people are asking questions of spiritual nature. One of the joys and one of the wins of the Alpha course that we've seen is just the amount of people that are really keen on asking those questions about life. And it's important, particularly as followers of Christ, that we help them on that journey. And many of us kind of sit back and go, hang on, I can't do that. Because I'm not a pastor, I haven't studied, I don't know my Bible well enough. But you know what? You have a story. And it is a story of God's grace in your life. And I always find this incredible because for many years I struggled with exactly this. I didn't think that my story was good enough to tell because most of the times at church what we've seen has been these amazing stories of God's grace in people's life, of really being lost and really far from God, and in an amazing moment of grace suddenly God changes their life around. The real from day to night kind of stories of salvation. And I always thought that was the important thing. But you know what? I felt that my story wasn't good enough. I grew up in a Christian home. I have amazing godly parents to this day that still pray for me and my family. And I had that gradual experience of being in Sunday school from an early age and going through that whole process and eventually coming to the point of understanding who Jesus was and wanting to know him. And so my story was very, very normal, if you may. But you know what? It was only in the last few years that I actually realized what an amazing story of grace I have. Because my story, I have friends and family that have gone down roads that have been really difficult in terms of life decisions and being caught up in addictions and things like that. And I realized I never got caught in that. God was gracious to me. My story of God's grace has been a lifelong protection and covering and care and safety. I have that same experience of God's grace in my life is what I'm praying over my children today, because I'm wanting them to experience God in his goodness. And so my story is important. And so in this time of lockdown, as people are struggling, are asking these questions about God, my encouragement to you is this: tell your story. Your story is not lost. In fact, 2 Timothy 4 verse 2 encourages us. It says, preach the word, be ready in season and out of season, reprove, rebuke, and exhort with complete patience and teaching. Church, this is an opportunity for us to tell that amazing story of grace that is your life. People will be impacted. We never know who it is. It may not be the person you particularly want to hear the story, but someone else will hear that story and understand that God's goodness and maybe ask the right questions and cross that line of faith. So the encouragement to you is, don't forget your story. Don't not use your story, but use it, and use it because God's grace is important for the world to hear. I hope you have a great time, and God bless.